Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and this morning I'm looking at a book which has come to us from Ark Group, which is a Wilmington company. It's got a rather odd title for some of us perhaps, and I'll explain what the title means in a minute. The book itself is called Lean Six Sigma for Law Firms, and it's this book here. It's actually a report as such, one of the management reports which they produce. It's a slim paperback book. It's been written by Alman MacDonagh. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. You can see it's in association with managing partner, hence the little logo on the side. There's nothing on the back of it. It runs to 9 chapters and under 100 pages. There's no index or anything at the back because it's more in the way of a management report. That's the front bit of it there. Then you go straight into the contents section, and I'll explain what the book is all about in a minute. There are 9 chapters in total, as I've said. Then you have the executive summary, which is always worth looking at. I'll pull that back a bit and see there's quite a lot of detail. It goes on to page 2, and then there's information about Catherine, who is the author. Then you go straight into about the Legal Lean Sigma Institute, which explains in some detail what this is really all about. And then there are acknowledgements, another page in acknowledgements. Then you've got the foreword, which is always worth reading. You've got some idea. It's a management tool, of course, this book. Then you have an introduction, and the heading, of course, there is Diagnosing and Overcoming Lawyers' Resistance to Process Improvement. And I think you've got it there, in that we are actually on the cusp at the moment of a lot of very substantial changes which are taking place within not just the legal profession but everything that we do. Obviously the computer has taken that course for us, and we've got to look to see where we are. I have to say that the legal profession as a whole and the court structure is in, frankly, a very bad state and needs urgent remedial action, certainly in terms of the way they store documents. They don't use the cloud, for instance, they're paper-based and so on. We've got to start looking in the next 5 to 10 years at the way we do our civil justice business. Anyway, let me give you an indication of what this report is about. My wife Elizabeth and I have written a review, Enhanced Efficiency for Law Firms, and a new management tool with superior results, we hope, for all. Now what we say is this: if you're a practitioner looking for ways and means to conduct your business more profitably in today's increasingly competitive global markets, you'd be well advised to have a read of this recent publication from Ark Group. If you find the title somewhat mystifying, as I think I certainly did initially, others did, Lean Six Sigma is the designation of a set of processes, a management tool aimed at helping you gain competitive advantage and optimize client care at the same time in a now overcrowded legal marketplace. Now obviously it's a bit of an Americanism to a certain extent, but we know from what we've been told that there are too many lawyers at the moment, and therefore it is an overcrowded marketplace, and so therefore this is something that will enable you to get ahead of the game, if I can put it that way. As described by the author Alman MacDonagh, Lean and Six Sigma, sometimes referred to separately and or interchangeably, are process improvement toolkits for law firms. And if you Google, you'll find a whole range of books on this subject. So this is not just a sole title, there are quite a lot. Process improvement in this context is explained in detail, but to summarize it, lean is about simplifying process, reducing steps, increasing speed, eliminating waste and improving productivity. Six Sigma focuses on reducing and controlling variation. Lean and Six Sigma combined are about determining the right things to do, that's lean, and then doing them right, Six Sigma. Why the Greek letter sigma We don't know either. No doubt one can discern the explanation by intensive study of this text, but this is a minor and actually immaterial point. It's also a controversial point and talking point because, Lean Six Sigma is something that, gets your brain thinking a bit. The aim of the book, the management report, which is presented in, as I say, this handy management report format, is fundamentally to convince lawyers of the benefits of systemizing their methodologies as appropriate to the work they do. Interestingly, the senior vice president and general counsel of DuPont Legal, Thomas L. Sager, has written an encouraging foreword to the book, which I showed you a little earlier, in which he describes the successful implementation over a number of years of what has become known as the DuPont Legal Model, which exemplifies the principles of the Six Sigma journey under the broad heading of process improvement. See the words we've got, journey and so forth, all very modern words to communicate the ideals and the imagery that comes with it. Enhanced efficiency and superior results are only two of the positive outcomes mentioned. Also, I think it's worth noting in the article by award-winning legal writer Jonathan Furlong, he actually builds a convincing case for Lean Six Sigma as a catalyst for success within any law firm, quite simply because if properly and logically implemented, it works. Process-driven and systematic methods have demonstrably achieved positive results at a number of law firms, both in North America and the United Kingdom. Quote, "The day of the haphazard lawyer who operates on intuition and experience is drawing to a close," says Jonathan, adding that the process-driven lawyer, disciplined, procedural, systematic, is the success model for the future. Madness lies not in method, he declares, but in its absence. Now you can see, even with the concepts of our procedural rules and the way that we are going about effective written advocacy now in the presentation of cases in court, that there is a lot more, certainly in the civil jurisdiction, that is directly relevant to this quote. The haphazard lawyer, I'm afraid, does exist in the sense that you are still getting very late briefs in the criminal justice process, but that is effectively a slightly different system because the state is involved, whereas we're talking about here, about the civil issues. If all this sounds a little bit controversial, or debatable, or a trifle gloom and doom, we are reassured that process does not denigrate intellectual gifts. I hope that includes advocacy. It serves to discipline and improve upon them. So let me conclude by saying, as a pioneering concept developed only a few years ago, process improvement will predictably emerge as the way of the future. Imagine if you'd called this process improvement rather than Lean Six Sigma for law firms, it would have a slightly different possible connotation. I think it's, as I say, it's very important that progressive law firms are receptive to the need for change, and the book very usefully describes in practical terms how this and related methodologies can be implemented in and adapted to any legal environment. Any law firm, we think, or set of chambers for that matter, interested in creating a successful shift to modern management methods should set about acquiring this book. I'd like to thank the author very much, Anne Wilmington. Let me just show you it again. We'll just open it in the middle and you can see what you've got. You've got bullet points, you haven't got paragraph numbering or anything like that, no footnotes or anything like that, but it's very much the standard management report structure. A lot of interesting theories. It is effectively a management tool. For instance, Chapter 5, opportunistic approaches to employing Lean Six Sigma. Now you see where we are with it. It's actually Chapter 7 is also quite important. Getting started and structuring for success. That as well, I think, will do it, because this is very much a management training tool for law firms, and I certainly recommend it to you. Thank you to all concerned for producing it, and I hope you found it successful with your business. Bye-bye.